All initial consultations begin with adding a new user profile in the BreatheLink software. We're adding in user details such as date of birth, weight, and height and gender, which give us normalized values for the testing phase of our consultation. All initial consultations begin this way, looking at improving the strength of our athletes. Select the testing function and push the play button straight away so that activates the K5 device. And now that we're in the test tab, the patient should be instructed to breathe in hard, fast, and complete after exhaling all the air out of their lungs. Encourage sharp curves. Sometimes it's useful to use this sound to increase the inspiratory flow rates of your patients. Here we have 3 consistent peaks, and this is our objective measure for our inspiratory muscle strength. And here we're saving the data and looking at how the patient feels after that test phase. Now let's look at this in an initial consultation with an Ironwoman athlete.
So Liz, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to test how strong your breathing muscles are. And we're going to be testing your inspiratory muscles.
Okay.
So the main inspiratory muscle is your diaphragm. Okay? So your diaphragm is at its strongest point when your lungs are completely empty. So what I'm going to get you to do is breathe out completely, sitting up nice and straight in front of the computer. And then we're going to do an aggressive, fast inspiratory maneuver. So it's going to be breathing all the way out, then breathing in through the PowerBreathe K5 device as hard and as fast as you can for a full breath. Okay? I'm going to have a look at that, and we're going to get real-time feedback on the strength of your diaphragm, and I'm going to try and coach you through so that we get a really good baseline indication of how strong your diaphragm is.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Perfect. So the first thing you need to do is just grab the device in your hand, make sure that you don't cover up that valve at the back, create a good seal around the mouthpiece. You can breathe out through the device. So breathe out all the way through the device, and then in as hard and as fast as you can for a full breath. Cool?
Yeah.
Perfect. So sitting up nice and straight. Breathing out completely. And in hard, fast, complete. Good. Okay. So on the back screen here, we can see how much pressure is generated over time. So what I want to see is a really steep increase in this pressure generation curve over a short amount of time. Okay? And that shows me that the main muscle that's being involved in that inspiratory maneuver is your diaphragm, because your biggest inspiratory muscle is your diaphragm. So if we get a big pressure generation over a small amount of time, we can say that's a true reflection of the strength of your inspiratory muscles or your diaphragm. So it needs to be really, really aggressive to start with. So something like this. So breathing all the way out and really, really hard. Okay? So have another go.
In other words, you suck.
It was a good first effort, but we can do better.
Okay.
So all the way out. Squeeze all that air out. Nice and straight, then really hard and fast. Beautiful. Okay, so that's a lot better. You can see a really sharp increase in the pressure to a max before 0.2 of a second, which is very good. And then as your diaphragm's contracting, it's losing its force generating capacity, so we drop the pressure. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so your max is saying that your max inspiratory pressure, or the maximal force generating capacity of your diaphragm, is 88 centimeters of water pressure. So that's how much water your inspiratory muscles can displace. Just like a measure of kilos, like how much weight your diaphragm can lift, we measure it in centimeters of displaced water. Okay, so I'll get a couple of goes just to make sure it's a true reflection, and then we'll save this data and we'll compare it next week after you've done some training, and hopefully we'll see some increases. So when you're ready, another one. So all the way out, then really hard, fast, complete on the way in. Good, we're getting better. Okay, so that one's saying 96. So we've improved a little bit. You're getting to know how to do the maneuver. So we're learning a little bit and we're obviously improving. So I want to get some consistent results. So have another go. If we get another one around that mark, that'll be okay to record as your baseline strength.
Well, that was
Good.
shocking.
It was shocking, but it was still good. So because your diaphragm does lose its force generating capacity as you breathe in, it's really only that first part of the maneuver that we're interested in, okay? I say complete because I also want to sort of have a look at how that curve fades away, but really all I'm looking at is this part here, okay?
Yep.
So you are getting better every go, so one more go. Hopefully it's only one more go and we'll get a nice consistent run. I think you're around about, you're hitting your max now, so all the way out. Perfect. Okay. So that's pretty good. So 106, and I can just have a little look here, see what this guy is. It's about 102, so we're not differing by more than 5 centimetres of water pressure. So I'm going to take these two as our baseline and call your baseline inspiratory muscle strength as 106 centimetres of water pressure. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to save this data and we're going to review it when you come back in a week. Okay. So now I've got a baseline indication of how strong your breathing muscles are. Now I can work out around about what resistance level you should be training at. So during our first week of training, we generally train you between 15 and 30% of that 1RM value, of about that 106. So nice and easy, around sort of 16 to 32 centimetres of water pressure. But that's quite a wide range. So what I want to do is I want to get a little bit more specific and get a more individualised training prescription for yourself for this week. So I'm going to get you to breathe against some resistance for 30 breaths, see how you cope to breathing against that resistance, and then we're going to set an exact value for you to go home and train on. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Perfect.